Instructions. So I have a couple of slides. Um, actually, if you would go back to that first one, I think what I'm gonna remind people is that only members can vote. So if you are not a member, this would be a great time for you to log off and go get coffee. You're welcome to stay and observe, but only members are able to vote in congregational meetings. And we invite you to rename yourself so that those who are moderating this meeting can clearly identify who you are and ensure that you are a member. And the way that you rename yourself is by hovering your cursor over the three little dots in the top right corner of your screen. And it should say rename, and you can put your first and your last name. So I'll give those instructions. Then we can go to helpline. So if at any time during the voting process your computer dies or something terrible happens and you are having difficulty, we have a helpline set up. Here's the number to call. So for ushers, it'll be really important to get that in the chat. And just, I'm sure people will ask for it again, or we'll just need to keep offering the helpline, which is not to be confused with a phone bank. My fear is that the phone bank and the helpline will get confused, but we'll figure that out. So again, the phone bank is for those of you who call into Zoom on your phone and can't see the video, but only have audio. So if you are on your phone listening but have no video, you won't be able to vote. So that's you. Or if you are viewing through Facebook Live or the YouTube live stream. We've set up a phone bank. There's two numbers. If one of those numbers is busy when you dial, please hang up and call again. There will be plenty of time. We will make sure to get your vote. But if you are phoning in or on Facebook or YouTube, you need to use the phone bank when it is time to vote. You don't need to call them now, but when it is time to vote.
Heather,
Yeah.
do you want people who are having trouble with the screen, you want them to kind of like struggle with the screen versus switching over to the phone bank?
We just felt like we needed some place for people to kind of reach out if they needed help rather than interrupting the whole meeting. So
Right.
it's fine if somebody gets really frustrated with the Zoom poll and just wants to call in their vote, that's fine. And Billy, since you are the helpline, you can just say, I'm going to count your vote on the phone right now. Just cease and desist if it's too complicated. But for some folks, this is going to be really hard. And this is just no matter how many times we say it, this is just going to be really challenging. So, yeah, if Zoom is too hard, they can certainly either the phone bank or the helpline will take their vote over the phone. Helpful, Tamara.
Okay.
Heather,
Yes.
and you say if you are, it might be useful to say if you are watching this on the live stream on our website, you need to call.
Okay.
Because it can be confusing because when you watch on the live stream, it says Zoom because.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so if you are watching through our website on Facebook Live or YouTube, or calling in with your phone, just getting audio. Helpful. Thank you.
And did I just understand correctly that Billy is the one monitoring the helpline?
He is the helpline.
He is the helpline. Okay. And who is the phone bank?
That is David and Amy Gillies.
Gotcha. Okay.
And maybe their children if they co-opt them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so what's the next slide, Billy? Oh yeah, so then I'm also going to introduce our Committee on Ministry guests, Lyman Smith. I'll say a few words about him. Alice, this is kind of confusing. Alice Bellis is really our liaison, but she is unable to be with us this morning, so Lyman's here instead. But these are the two faces from Committee on Ministry that you all should know. Again, let me look at the script really quick. Oh, just ushers, you should know that Lyman Smith might not join the whole worship service, but he is coming for the congregational meeting, and it's the same Zoom link. It's not a separate link. So if he pops up, please let him in. He's legit, and he is supposed to be there.
Good
Um,
call.
so actually, Billy, I think after that we should. My suggestion is then we stop slides and share the agenda. I'm sorry, and then or or is it easier to run these slides and then put the agenda up? Because there's a place in the agenda where David moves the slate, but I think it's probably too hard to go back to slides from the agenda.
Yeah, I've got the agenda that you want this one up right here that Miriam sent out. Sorry, let me get pulled over. This one.
Is it the one that I sent out? Yeah.
Okay, so you want this to go up.
Yes. So after I give all of those instructions, we will officially start the meeting. So I'll call the meeting to order. Billy, you'll have a prayer. Again, I'll do a brief overview, but I'm gonna do those instructions twice. I'm gonna do a bunch of instructions while people are transitioning and getting settled, and then we'll open the meeting. Um, I don't think you need to change that. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm just doing it for myself.
So in the worship script, there's a whole bunch of stuff as well.
Okay.
So I actually think before we start the meeting, let's keep those picture slides up, and I'll just review those names again. Um, yep, we'll go through those.
So
Yep.
before this slide, you want these slides?
No, so the congregational meeting instructions, the helpline, the phone bank, and then the picture slides. We'll do that slide and then the picture slides. Yep. And then you can screen share the agenda.
And then I'll just have it up and I can
Yep.
easily do that. That's fine.
Okay. So today's business is to elect new diaconal ministers and the PNC. The PNC is limited to 9 people. If we have additional nominations during this meeting, we will need to have a ballot vote, which we will explain to you at that time. And if there are additional nominations and someone wants to challenge the number of people on the PNC, there will need to be a separate motion and vote to that effect. We do expect this to take some time. This is not going to be one of those 10-minute congregational meetings that goes by really quickly, particularly because we want everybody's vote to count, and we need to do that in a variety of different ways this morning. So technology is great, but it's not going to be an instantaneous meeting, so please bear with us. Again, the helpline if you run into any trouble while voting. I'll ask Miriam to confirm that we have a quorum, which is 45 people. I hope we can get that. We've never had a problem with that before. And then David Gillies will do the first piece of business, which is really easy, presenting new diaconal ministers, Amy Gillies, Lindsay, and Kyle. I'm trying to get pictures of them, Billy, just because I don't know if people know who they are. So we might have a slide with their pictures, but at this point, I don't have those yet. So David will move a motion to approve those new officers. We'll do a second. Any discussion? We'll vote on the new officers. I don't expect any problems with that. Then I'll turn the meeting over to Lyman Smith, who will go on for some time about the connectional nature of the PCUSA, overview the search process, and then he is required by presbytery rules to inform the entire congregation about the EEO and affirmative action policy. So he'll spend some time doing that. That is not optional. We have to do that. Then I will invite David Gillies to spend some time talking about the process of the nominating committee, how they came up with these people, the slate, what their practices were, and then he will move the actual slate. So we'll put the motion to vote on these 9 people on the floor. There'll be a second. We'll have any conversation. I will ask if there are any other. Actually, before we move that slate, well, we'll move the slate. I don't know. move the slate. I'm making this up as I go. Can you tell? We'll move the slate, and then I will ask if there are any nominations from the floor. So if someone's nominating, if someone's basically challenging the slate, they need to make sure they've asked that person in advance and that they are willing to serve. So this is where the meeting could kind of go sideways. If there are additional nominations, we will need to have a ballot vote, which is a Google form. That is something we have not practiced. But Billy, you're gonna do that now, correct?
Yes. So here's what I have. I have entered the names of the ballot as you requested.
Okay.
So right now it shows as it would appear with the instructions, and I put them in alphabetical order as well.
Okay.
What would you like the motion to read? And I can go ahead and fix that right now.
To approve the following slate of to approve the following slate to serve on the pastoral nominating committee. Or maybe we should even say, instead of slate, to approve the following 9 individuals. So here's where we could have issues. If there are nominations from the floor, which is anyone's right to do in a congregational meeting, we will then need to have a ballot that has the 9 people the PNC has nominated and then any additional nominations that we have. So Billy will fill those in at the last minute option. You know, we could have 1, we could have 6, who knows? And then people will need to fill out this form and vote on it. So the form will be placed in the chat. People will click on the chat. They'll fill out the form. The phone bank is a lot more complicated. So we're really kind of hoping that people trust the work of the nominating committee. I think it's a really good slate. It's balanced, and that we don't have additional nominations. But if we do, we'll need to pivot. And so, Stan, I would imagine we're going to need a lot of music. Yeah, we're going to need a lot of music. So we've got a backup plan. We hope we don't need to use it. The other place where things, go ahead, Stan.
The only question is when to start and how will I know when to stop?
I think I'll just tell you.
Okay,
I think I'll
very
just
good.
be like, and as we get the ballots together, I now invite Stan to play us some beautiful music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need me, yes.
Okay.
Good enough.
The other place where this could go a little sideways is if the PNC moves the slate of 9 people, somebody has an additional nomination. They nominate Will Timmons to serve on the committee. And then somebody says, oh, well, why don't we just have 10 people? Like, I don't want to have to choose between the 9 and Will, so let's just have 10 people. Like, that would be just really great. And so the presbytery has a strong recommendation that the committee is no less than 7 and no more than 9. And the nominating committee spent a long time debating this and decided 9 was a very good number for us as a congregation. So if somebody wants to do that, we have to have a new motion that would change the size of the PNC. So they would move a motion saying, I move that our PNC be 10 members. It's also really helpful for the committee to be an odd number, not an even number, because then you can you don't have a tie vote. So we'll say all of those things if somebody wants to change, but ultimately they can make a motion and say 10 people. I think most of the nominating committee, if not all, would vote against that, but the motion either carries or doesn't carry, and then we would go back to voting on people. I really feel strongly that it should be 9 people and that people have to choose. They just have to vote on 9 people. But that's where things could get interesting. So if there are no additional nominations and everything goes according to plan, we have 2 ways to vote in this meeting. If you are joining via Zoom and video, then you are going to vote in the Zoom poll. And Will, you're the host now, so I can't run the poll, which is fine. Do you want to run the poll?
I'll make you a co-host. Sorry.
Okay. Again, if you are joining through the live stream on the website or through Facebook Live or the YouTube channel, you won't be able to vote via the Zoom poll. So you are going to vote through the phone bank. So 2 ways to vote, either the Zoom poll or the phone bank. Both of those count. And so now we will begin the vote. So we'll run the poll. Oh, that's me. Sorry. So
You
I
can
will.
do it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I will probably spend a few minutes talking about the poll before I launch it. Just, we practiced this last week, but in case you weren't there, the poll has 3 questions. Don't be surprised, it's the exact same question 3 times in a row. And that is so if there are multiple people in your household using the same device, like a husband and wife on the couch with one computer, that you can both vote. So, the first question of the poll is, do you approve these 9 people to be the PNC? And the first person in your household will vote yes or no. And you voted. Great. The second question, do you approve these 9 people to serve as the PNC? This is where the second person in your household would vote, yes or no. If there's only one person in your household, then you answer the third answer, which is, I've already answered this question. We do it one more time, just in case there are 3 people in your household who are voting. Same question, do you approve these 9 people to serve on the PNC? If you're the third person in the household, you'd vote yes or no. If you are the first or second person in the household, you'll say, I've already answered this question, and then you'll submit your poll. It's really important, no matter how many people who are in your household, that you answer all 3 questions, because in order for a Zoom poll to be sent to us, all 3 questions have to be answered. So don't quit on the first question if there's only one person in your household. Does that all make sense? Okay, so I'm going to launch the poll. And we have plenty of time, so take your time. Will those of you who are not co-hosts go ahead and just vote just to make sure it works?
And if you are a co-host, do not hit end poll.
Yeah. That's a helpful reminder for me to maybe remind folks at 9:15 tomorrow. Or would you say that again, Billy, if I don't remember?
Yeah, well, I had to remind myself. I was like, oh, is that the submit button? And I was like, oh, I can't vote. And John O'Brien did the poll.
Yes, that was special.
Okay. So for those of you who voted, did that work for you? Was that okay? Pretty easy?
Yeah, so like you can't submit it until you've answered all 3 questions. It's not an option.
Correct. But sometimes when we practiced, people only answered the first question and then never scrolled down, like never, and so it wasn't submitting.
Right. But I think last time you did it, you said something like, answers are coming in after the first question, and
right.
They couldn't.
Right. So that's yeah. So until you answer all 3 questions, your poll won't submit. So all 3 of you have voted. I don't love the little time clock up there because it's like do to do to do 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 to do to do. But we have plenty of time. So and it's not just the Zoom poll. It's also our phone bank. So even once the Zoom poll ends, we'll still be waiting for our phone bank results to come in. So we are all texting Miriam the results, phone bank, Zoom poll, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure we'll be madly texting back and forth to make sure everything is going smoothly. And then we will announce the vote. And I did a new, I put a commissioning in there, Billy, so I need to resend it to you. But we'll do a quick commissioning of the PNC, whoever those folks are. It's 3 congregations of the PNC members, 2 questions to the congregation. I'll lead that. They're short. I'm not going to make slides. I'm just going to say, please say we will or we do. I will thank the nominating committee for their good work and all of the people that served on that. And then Lyman Smith will close us in prayer.
I have one question back to the voting. If
Sure.
people put a vote in the chat box, because I could see somebody doing that.
Yeah.
Do you want us to go in there and do you want us to just like count it and be done with it, or do you want us to go in and say no? Actually, you need to call the phone bank.
Yeah, that's a good point because some people are like just new to chat and they'll be like, "Oh, that's where I vote." So that's really helpful that I say some language of this is not the chat. We're going to vote by a poll. We practiced this last week. If you're not familiar with a poll, it will be a box that will pop up on your screen. Um, I
Okay.
think you can handle that however you want. You can chat back to that person, please vote in the poll, not the chat, or you can text Miriam and say, here's a yes vote from so and so. However you think is best. But that's a good point. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody votes in the chat.
I'm kind of counting somebody's going to.
I'm wondering, would it be worth disabling the chat at that point, or is it still helpful for people to,
Well, people can let you know if something's not going right.
yeah, through
That
the chat?
way a
So
little bit.
okay,
So
yeah. So if ushers would just continue to monitor that. Stan.
One is
You're,
you may have already mentioned it and I missed it, that the ushers shouldn't vote because they might lose the whole thing. They might kill the whole process.
No, what happened? Well, if you're a co-host, which you will be, um, you should just text Miriam your vote. Or
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
like don't go through the phone bank. Just text Miriam. There won't be many of you. It's really just the two of you, and Will, because Joe won't be here, and Stan,
Right.
you're not a member. So it's
neither am I.
Oh, okay. So it's Meg House and Will who just text Miriam your vote um, because as co-hosts, you're not allowed to participate in the poll. It's kind of weird, but
I remember
Okay.
last week we almost lost the whole thing because
well,
somebody.
and because that's what John O'Brien did. He thought it was submit poll, and it was really end poll, and it was like, ah.
And the other last thing is once you have 46 yays, you don't need to continue the process. Let people
You,
go in, but you can just count your numbers.
no, we
Or do
do.
you?
We
Okay.
need to let people who are phoning in
Oh, no,
know that
I mean
their vote.
complete the process, but as far as the tally goes, you'll know how you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we'll know that the vote has passed, but
Yeah,
but we will continue to not announce that until people have
of course.
called in. Process is really
Let the
important for
process go.
this.
Yes, I understand.
People need to feel like their vote matters, and it does. So even if the first 40 people on Zoom, it's 100% slam dunk. We need to give all of those folks a chance. Because
Right,
otherwise, when we do this again, which will be much higher stakes
right. They will.
to nominate the pastor, people,
Yeah,
we need people to buy into the process.
right.
So
You're
it
absolutely
will
right.
take time. People will get impatient, myself included, but we need to let the process play out.
I have a lot of tunes.
Okay. All right.
All
But
good.
but can we share snacks? That's the hard.
You can turn your video off and take a bathroom break. You can grab a snack, or you could, honestly, once. I mean, we're going to commission the PNC, so I don't want people to vote and then leave.
Well, the question I would have is if someone votes and then leaves before we end the poll, does their vote stay?
I don't know the answer to
Could
that.
we test that out because we have not ended the poll, but we have three people who have voted? Can one of you leave the meeting and come back?
Oh, I thought we did end the poll. Oh no,
Oh,
we haven't. You're right.
it's right here,
Sure,
7 minutes and
Right.
counting.
I'll do that.
All right, see you soon.
Yeah, in Emmanuel's meeting, we just proactively said if you leave, your vote doesn't count. But that was just because we wanted to make people stay. People were asking to leave.
Okay, it
So
looks like the
now I
vote
end it.
counts.
Do I end it?
Yeah, perfect. So the vote counted.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't have to tell people that. But
Yeah, I'm just going to
we,
encourage people to stick around. Clearly turn off your video if you need to, run to the restroom or grab a snack. But we're going to commission and pray for these folks, and it's important that we own that as a congregation. We're entrusting them with some really big stuff.
yeah.
So my hope is we can do it in 45 minutes.
Okay.
I I don't know, but that is kind of what I'm running for. I'm not going to go for a long sermon. I hope that I want this to be a good process that people feel good about. I don't want to rush it, but I also don't want it to be so long that people check out. So we'll learn some stuff. Any comments, questions, thoughts?
Um, just a quick thought on. I mean, if someone has something specific to the poll, go ahead. Otherwise, I have a question about the slides.
I think we're as set as we're going to be for the congregational meeting. We'll need to get Miriam and David on board on Sunday morning, so we'll need to spend some extra time with them just to get them ready to go. But we can go back to slides.
Okay, so as far as the picture, send that to me. I changed how these slides update. So basically, we only have to load the picture in one time in one place, and it puts it on all the slides that have that picture on it. So, um,
I'm trying to look and see what the picture. Let me. Well, you guys chat
and
amongst yourselves.
all you have to do is email it to me,
Okay.
and I'll know which one is like the main picture. And then I created the blurry like abstract background off of that picture.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'll just do the same thing for the next picture you send me, or we can keep this one if you like the orange splash on the left.
Yeah, it's not the right picture.
Yeah.
Good catch, Billy. It's a globe with a whale. I knew you were gracious and compassionate. So what I don't know how to do is pull it from the Faces of Faith stuff.
So what I've been doing is blowing it up and screenshotting it in my redneck method.
Oh.
Uh, is
So
that
can
something I can get to?
I will send you the document and
Okay.
it's the Jonah picture.
Okay.
And if you need me to do something else, let me know.
Because I have my ways.
Okay.
We don't have the original files. We just have.
Well, we have their visuals document, but this was early on in their stuff, so
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I've just been blowing it up and screenshotting it and then inserting it.
Redneck. That's funny.
I'm sure you'll have a much more.
Wait, where are you from, Billy?
I'm from North Carolina.
North Carolina. I'm from South Carolina.
Nice.
I have one more question about the kind of the monitoring the videos, and there was something about, like what you're looking for. Any tips on what we're looking for?
The stuff that keeps me up at night is pornography.
Sure.
So what we have had is Meg has encountered a naked man. We've had the Russian state hack morning prayer. We've had some pornography in the community book study, I think. But what I'm hearing from other churches on Sunday mornings is primarily child pornography, like videos. So sometimes those folks come in at the beginning. Sometimes they're people that kind of want in towards the middle or end of the service. Oftentimes they're phone numbers, people we don't recognize, but hackers can do all kinds of things. So it's a general scanning of the screens. If you see anybody taking their clothes off or not having clothes on, or offensive. The thing about the chat box is you can't erase anything. We can disable it. But if somebody writes something offensive, which is possible, so just keeping an eye out. And if for whatever reason you need to unmute yourself and interrupt, or you have all of our text, our messages, our cell phones, you can text somebody and say Mayday.
Yeah, don't text Heather don't text Heather, text me, or
when I'm preaching, my phone is off. So, but
Right.
text Will, text Billy, text between yourselves.
and the chat box is fine too. Sometimes when there's a lot going on for me switching stuff, I don't see the chat as much because I don't know why they don't make a sound, even though I have it checked to make a sound. But so yeah, but text or chat or both to get my attention one way or the other is fine. So I'll try to help with that, managing the meeting.
But when in doubt, just remove somebody. This isn't like a 3 strikes and you're out. Like if you think it's nakedness, just remove them.
Right.
If it is a weird video, just remove them.
Question for you, Tamara. You're from what I see, it says Tamara's iPad. How many? Do you know how many people you can see on there at one time when slides are being shared?
Very few. So I logged in on this because Zoom was asking to download on the big iMac that I'm
Right.
actually going to be using on Sunday.
Mhm.
And I couldn't remember Eric's password to
Okay.
to do that. So I've been doing that while we've been doing this. So I'm not going to be on the iPad on Sunday. Because
Okay.
yes, otherwise I'd be like,
Yep.
scrolling like crazy.
And the iMac is good. There's a setting once you download that and you get into your settings. There's a way to say like show 45 or however many it says people on one screen, and then you can change how much of your screen is allotted to the slides and how much is allotted to the people. So I make the slides really small and see a lot of people
Right.
when I'm trying to help monitor. So the iMac is good.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to... Who starts the meeting on Sunday? Is that you, Heather?
Me.
Okay.
Do you want it started earlier?
Just maybe... no, 9:15, but...
Okay, just text me.
Okay.
And again, Tamara and Meg, we do the best we can. I mean, you're on defense, so we just do the best that we can. But we're trying to protect people from nefarious imagery or language. And we haven't had any. Well, the Russian state and morning prayer since the Naked Guy, but that was just bizarre. That was
just bizarre. That
called
was not,
everybody yeah. So, but knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky, and I hope that we stay that way. But still want to remain diligent because of the openness. Our doors are wide open, and we love that about New York Avenue, and that's who we're consciously choosing to be. But there's some risks to that. So thank you for doing what you are doing. Is there anything else for the whole group that we need to talk about today? Okay, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you at 9:15 on Sunday morning.
And
Sounds
next
good.
week we're meeting on Thursday. Everyone got the memo about that?
Yep. That
So
sounds
I think
good to me.
that's Stan and Will, because the rest of us are not part of that. Meg Neal's running slides, but because of the holiday, Stan rehearsal will be Thursday.
That sounds good to me. Yep.
Time is 4 o'clock or earlier.
4 is what I believe I said. Let me double check that right now.
Yep, that's what I was told.
Thursday is 4 o'clock. Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, everybody. Joe, you're gonna stay on so we can have some conversation.